And we're back on.
Yeah,
hey, it is Scotch for Dummies, Bourbon Shenanigans, part 2.
Hopefully part 2.
And if we're live, let us know. I'm glad. Hopefully you guys stayed around. We are having major technical difficulties, which is bizarre because we've done this exact same setup before. So
a couple times. It's not bizarre. It's
kind of how it happens, I guess.
It is what it is.
See you.
But we did shots until we got back up.
So. Our guest is back. So Whiskey Go Girl's being very patient. Hopefully she's not heading 2 grams away.
We only got 6 online, but we'll get it.
Okay.
It's coming up.
Holy
all right.
moly.
Video and sound is going. Scott Test Dummies are saying it's good. Osiris, everybody's saying it's great. We're in.
We're good?
Hey, Scott. How you doing?
Is Scott there?
Yeah. Scott's on.
Hey, Scott, pound a good whiskey for us.
Oh,
so,
all right,
so let's start over. How about that?
So who do we have on tonight?
Special guest.
Yeah, right.
We're start over. We're going to go long tonight.
Can you do that? Can you do the reviews? So anyway, we have Whiskey Go Girl from Los Angeles. She's already given us the story of where she came from and how she got into this. Let's say she's been doing it for 2 years, right? Which is pretty fast paced because you didn't get into what you've accomplished in those 2 years, right? So you decided to start this up and you're doing this Whiskey Go Girl thing on Instagram because you're really familiar with Instagram. And then 2 years later, what have you done in those 2 years? You've done some pretty cool stuff. I think you've actually made it to Scotland already, haven't you?
Yes. I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of really great people behind the brands, from ambassadors to account directors and everywhere in between. I've got to do some pretty cool things just here in LA. I went to a football game with Highland Park, and that was rad.
What?
Yeah, I love football. So that was really cool. And then in April of this year, I went out to Scotland with Glenfiddich, who I love and adore. The people behind that brand. My mentor is an ambassador for that brand, who I love dearly. And I went out to judge as part of their most experimental bartender competition. So I judged alongside some really cool people, including Ian Miller, which was really wild.
Really?
And yeah. Yeah, I wish I could sit on a porch and drink with him every night. He is such a really awesome human and has a lot of really great stories. And so we went and did that, and I was out there for 5 days and did a little Instagram takeover for them, and that was really cool. So, and
that's pretty amazing. Did you? I'm assuming you documented all that, and
yes, and I have this really long blog post that I really need to post on it, but it's really hard to put into words how amazing that experience was for me. Scotland alone, I mean, whether you're visiting distilleries or not, is magical in its own way. It's like walking in a Harry Potter movie. I loved every second of it. I even called my husband and I was like, "You're gonna have to come get me. I'm not coming home."
You're not. That's once you step in that.
Not that
in Scotland, and you just smell the air and you look, it's breathtaking. It's just amazing how beautiful the scenery is, and just the smell, and you're like walking into Lord of the Rings or something like that.
Yes, everything is just green and alive, and
it's like a whole other world.
It really is.
And then you see a distillery, and then you see special people like that. It's like I can't imagine the excitement you must have been under.
Yeah, I think I cried multiple times on that trip. They were making fun of me because I was like, we're at dinner and they're talking and I'm crying and I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever.
That's awesome.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
No. I'm
going. We're all going.
Yeah. Now I won't feel bad when I do it.
No, please feel free to cry. There's no shame in that.
We can't get the chat up, so I don't know if the old video.
I'm not sure. I'll let you guys know.
Yeah, so keep an eye on that because I want to get into this Balblair real quick because we do have some whiskeys to get into with Jenna. She did send us some stuff. We're excited about getting into an Australian whiskey called Starward. It's their 10th anniversary, which we couldn't find much on that particular bottle. It's not even on their website, so we're going to have to really rely on Jenna for that. But then we're also going to get into a couple of SMWS things too. So because of the technical difficulties and the beauty that Telex is not here tonight, if Jenna's okay for going a little long, I guess we're up for it, right, guys?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah,
So before we begin, I just want to say that I took some heat this week on the Balblair.
You did.
Yep.
Because everyone, and I know we haven't posted yet. I know you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, I did a blog post for this week, which will go up tomorrow, right?
Yep.
And I totally defended Drew.
Well, thank you. I haven't read it yet, but I will say, guys, that we all have off nights. We sometimes we have where just the palate's not working. Something's just not there. Maybe you're a little sick or whatever, right? And you always kind of hesitate with that. But I stuck to my guns on the review, and you kind of have to, right? You don't want to deviate because you think it's something. You want to be honest. And I'll tell you, I was looking forward tonight having one more glass, thinking, oh, it's going to change. It's going to be a 3.5. I'm still sticking with the 2.
What?
It's not doing it. It's not going. I'm looking for depth and different things. I just think I know this is an amazing Scotch, no doubt. Just for me, it's just not really doing anything. It's just right here.
It's cool.
So I'm feeling better about that. To say all the haters out there, it's okay. I'm okay. I feel fine with the decision.
I
like
actually
stuff that you don't like. You like stuff that I don't.
Well,
like.
here's the thing. Everybody tastes stuff differently, and there's a ton of stuff that goes into it, from how you're feeling that day to what you ate to the chemical compounds in this. You may not have the receptors for in your mouth, or you may not pick them up as readily as some other people. So you just may not be getting what other people are getting. It's not wrong. It's just how you're tasting it. It is what it is.
It's what it is.
Right.
I'm not mad at you.
Glasses. I'm pouring.
Well, you just
Wow.
calm down.
Yeah, you just roll. So Andrew's wanting to pre-pour the Starward, but
I don't blame him.
does it need it, by the way?
It is. So 10th anniversary.
Correct.
10 years old whiskey, or is just in celebration of their 10th year as a distillery?
It is in celebration of their 10th year. So this is a non-age statement whiskey. And basically, in short term, what this bottle is a vatting of the history of the distillery.
Right.
So it is, I believe it's a vatting of 28 casks that cover 8 different cask types, including, I think there's some PX in there. I believe there's actually a ginger beer cask in there.
Really?
A lot of Australian wine.
I'm not ready for it. I'm still trying to finish this Balblair up. I kind of am with Drew a little bit in the fact that it doesn't really hit the mark for me as far as what I really like. I can tell you that I respect and appreciate it for what it is. There's a ton of flavor in there. To me, it just really reminds me like of a bourbon. I mean, I'd say,
I think that's why you don't.
That's why I like.
And that's what I was going to say. I can see that's why you're in love with this. And
the three of us are bourbon.
It's obviously got its place. And I'm not saying it's bad at all. Actually, the quality is there. It's a good dram. It's just not inside my target zone.
Yeah.
It's all right.
No, it's good. It's okay.
I think this has a lot more of that like plum
I'll
and raisins and stuff that you don't get in most bourbons. So that's why I like it, because it's got that oak. I like that rich oak flavor, but I also like that plum and raisin and those kind of sweetness that comes out. So I think it's better than most bourbons that I've had.
All right, so let's move on. I don't know what you guys are doing up there. Let's move on to some actual other good stuff. Why don't you go through what some of the samples we got here, Mark, and talk about
so
you guys were just going over that one.
Yeah, we started, so you guys got to pour it.
I don't know. Have you been keeping an eye on that chat? I want to see if anybody was beating you up anymore.
No, not really.
So we're gonna savor a little bit of this and send it out to LA, because I want to get Jenna's take on it. And I think you said you've actually tried it, but maybe too long where you can't remember, or
Yeah, I don't really remember it much. If I did have it.
throw
So
something fresh at you then. So what Jenna sent us for this actual show was she sent us a couple samples of this Starward, which they've already talked a little bit about. 10th anniversary bottling, 52% ABV. They are out of Melbourne, Australia, and there's some really unique stuff that we're going to talk about that distillery in this particular bottling, which Jenna's kind of already covered a little bit. She also sent us, which was a huge surprise that maybe we get into it tonight, the Smoky Monkey. You guys know that we love the monkey shoulder, right? We fell in love with that bottle. It's a great value dram. What, $35 or something? This is the smoky version of it. So I mean, Andrew about had a heart attack.
It's hard to get, right?
Yeah. So
It hasn't been released.
Monkey Shoulder is a great blend. It's a blended malt that we had a great time with. We killed a bottle in New Orleans over 24 hours.
Oh yeah, we did.
And it was just a great, easy drinking. And so Monkey Shoulder was getting a ton of information from bartenders saying, "Hey, can you do something similar to this, but put some smoke in it for some more flavorful cocktails?" Because it's priced at a cocktail range. And so they came out with Smoky Monkey, and they publicized it about a year ago. There's nothing in the United States about it. It's completely devoid. You ask about it, nobody knows it. He asked about distributors, and they said, "No, we don't have it." Well, look what came in the mail.
Well, Jenna, you told me something on the phone the other day though about the release of this. What can you share with that?
So from what I know, it currently is only available in France and in the UK, and that's where I got my bottles from. We're in Paris when we were there earlier this year, and we bought 3 bottles because it's very well priced, even in France. I think it was like converted to maybe a little over $50, which to me is not too far of a departure from the typical monkey shoulder. But I think this will be here in the States next year.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Right.
So,
Which we'll just wait patiently.
So,
but what we should be talking about Starward.
yeah, we're pouring that out right now. So, the Starward
10th anniversary.
Yeah, let's talk about the distillery a little bit, because honestly, I hadn't heard of it before. Jenna was generous with us and sent this out to us. Obviously, when she told me she was sending us this, I went out and what in the world? What can I find out about it? And there were a couple really interesting points. I know you and I kind of talked about them earlier, and we talked to Jenna before we came on camera. But there's some interesting things that set them apart and make them a little bit more unique than most of our viewers are used to. So. Melbourne, Australia. I guess the big point to make about Melbourne, Australia is the temperate zone, the climate, right?
Yes, you can get all 4 seasons in a day or
it's
like it's some very strange phenomenon that's happening down in Australia. I don't know if there's really an answer for it, but they have I guess phenomenal weather patterns. So it's a little different, and I know with it being warmer, it's very different than something that is aging in Scotland. So it's
a phenomenon that you have in Kentucky. So in Kentucky, it's hot. I mean, it's
I
hot.
thought it was going to be a joke on that one.
I mean, actually, when you look at latitude, they're not that far off each other, and you get that extra heat. And so what that heat does is it actually, if you're aging whiskey in high temperatures, it actually pressurizes the casks. And because the water molecules are smaller than the ethanol molecules, it actually pushes the water through the wood out of the cask and actually increases the proof.
And that's why you have a chemical engineer on the show, kids.
So in Scotland, and so at the kind of cool temperatures, ethanol is more volatile, and so it will evaporate out faster.
Right.
But when you get that pressure in the cask and it pushes that water through the wood, it raises the proof. And that's one thing that Starward has going for them, is that extra heat allows that proof to actually rise as they age it. Well, and plus that heat, you get that cycling through that wood faster. It pressurizes, draws out almost every day, as opposed to like every month or annually
Right. So this is a much younger whiskey.
Yes. And here, this is, sorry, I'll show you what the actual bottle looks like.
Oh, that's cool.
See it.
Nice.
So, yeah. But this was actually, I want to, if I have can I have a second, I just want to share how this bottle actually got to me.
Sure.
I have a good friend, her name is Ren Butler. She runs a kind of like a whiskey club called the Whisky Social out in Melbourne. She's actually here from the States and is living out in Melbourne. And she is just, she has purple hair too, so that might be one reason why I love her. But she puts on these really great events for people who just want to explore whiskey. They're fun and approachable, and I think her motto is, her club is for like the adventurous whiskey drinker. And she does some really, really cool events, but her handle is The Whisky Social. And she was very kind to send these bottles to me via a friend who was coming to LA. So without her, we would not be having this tonight. So big thanks to Ren Butler of The Whisky Social for sending these to us. And if anyone out there is in Melbourne, make sure you find her and attend one of her events because she's brilliant and she's so smart, and I love her dearly. So thank you, Ren, for sending this.
Well, I can tell you from nosing this, I get tapioca. I get a really strong.
So
vanilla is sweet.
So the way that she described it to me when she sent it, she said, "It is like a party in your mouth."
Fair enough.
Those were her exact words.
Okay then.
And I'm with her. I agree.
All
I
right.
mean, it's got so much. The nose is like nothing you've tasted or nosed before because it's got all those different castings in there.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's going on there.
It's got a lot going on.
So one of the other things that was interesting about this this distillery is their maturation, the barrels they use. So first and foremost, they only use Australian wine casks, right? So they're not outsourcing off the island, I guess. But what they do is you said it better, Jenna, before we came on the show, is they
fill them saturated. So they are not broken down. They are not recharred. They don't want to lose any of that, those beautiful wine, attributes to the whiskey. So they fill the barrels from the distiller just totally saturated. So you get heavy, very strong flavors in this whiskey. And when I first had it, it reminded me of when you eat Pop Rocks and you just feel like little pops happening all over your mouth. That was
perfect timing when you said that. Yeah, what she just said.
Yeah. So it's like all over. There's something different happening in all different parts of your mouth, and
wow,
it's really unlike anything I've ever had before. And for being a young whiskey, it doesn't taste young to me at all.
And there's a lot of flavor going on, and at 50%, you can get it. I mean.
You can feel the heat.
Oh yeah, I definitely get the oak influence. I mean, I love the absolute nose on it though. The nose was.
Do you know how old these are?
No.
I think they range between 2 to 3 years.
Really?
But again, because of the weather, it's a young whiskey there isn't the same as a young whiskey coming from Kentucky or Scotland. Expression, and they have a red wine expression. Actually, those two should be here in the US, I want to say in July of next year.
Oh, wow.
So those should be showing up. They said July. We'll see if that happens. But this particular bottle, I don't think will ever come to the States. That I don't think you'll ever be able to get it. So I actually had a Starward whiskey back in February of last year. There was a gentleman who was very kind to send me a sample of what he had. And I don't recall what the exact expression was, but I remember having it. And this was very early in my whiskey journey. And it was really delicious. And I really enjoyed it. And then so to kind of revisit this and have this Pop Rocks explosion of flavor in your mouth it's a real treat. It's really good.
Yeah. It's really nice with a little bit of water in it too. It breaks everything apart and lets you really kind of get into it a little bit more.
I'll tell you what,
it's really nice.
The water kind of took away the vanilla. I get a lot more sherry influence on it. Definitely.
Yeah, there are some Australian sherry cask in there.
Yeah, there's some deep sugar notes now.
What is that? Like some vanilla and.
So Jenna, we have subscribers and viewers all over the world as you do as well. The question I have is, where is this only available in Australia at this point?
I'm not 100% sure how far their distribution gets. I know it definitely is in Australia, but I don't know outside of there where exactly it would be. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, again, you can contact Ren at the Whisky. She's very familiar. She's visited the distiller. She's very tight and knowing.
That's a fun drink.
It's fun. Yeah.
Because it's a challenge to me. I really I'm trying to break down the flavors. I'm trying to break down the nose, and there's just too many of them.
It's not deep flavors like you get with like an old Scotch. It's just a lot of different kinds of flavors that are all
good.
it really balanced well.
I was going to say, there's nothing that's overpowering. It really does kind of skip along there.
To have that, many different casks in this whiskey, you would think maybe, like you said, something would overpower, but it's done beautifully.
It could have gone wrong in a hurry.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
All it takes is 2 flavors to contrast, and the next thing you know, it's bad.
Right.
Somebody wants it.
I don't know. I'm curious to know what the price point of their core range is. So those
I want to say it's like around maybe $60-$70.
That's about right. So I looked at their website, and they have the wine cask and the Solera.
The Solera, yeah.
Those are in the $90 to $110 Australian, which is like that's like 75% American. So yeah, that $60 to $70 range is probably right about.
Okay, and I think this particular bottle, the 10th anniversary, is around like 100, 110 maybe.
U.S. or Australian?
I believe that's U.S.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, it's a source of bottling.
Yeah, I'm curious to know if any of the subscribers have had Starward, and whether it's the 10th anniversary or any other bottling of it. I'd just like to hear what they had to say about it. So try to keep an eye on those comments, guys.
Ooh, I've not been doing that.
How about the bottle of Deanston on the bar?
How about that bottle of
was a
Easton
warm-up.
on the bar? I had a sip. It was great.
Yeah, that was a warm-up bottle, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of Australian wine, so there was I actually went to our fine wine store here and got a bottle of Pedro Ximénez grape wine from Australia. It's actually from Australia, and we tasted that here because a lot of like this,
Right.
the PX cask. Yeah, this is a
It was
PX
very
cask,
interesting.
Scotch, but when you drink the PX wine, it's so sweet and so potent that you just like it burns that flavor onto your palate. So now you know it every time you taste it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the best way. I agree. That's the best way that's how I have been trying to train myself into picking out different types of sherry and whiskeys, is if you have them side by side and you do, it does wonders.
It does.
So
Well, because
I
you
think
can
that's a
pick
good
out
way.
the flavors from the sherry and then the flavors that the whiskey's imparting.
Right.
So
Training yourself.
Yeah.
This is a really enjoyable.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's too bad that this bottle's not going to come to the States, because it's I think it's a fun bottle. And maybe if the price is $110 for 52% ABV, I think it's.
I know if I see it one of the other ones, I will definitely
Eric's
pick
a
it up.
dork.
So go ahead.
He was just saying how you can tell when it's an Australian whiskey when you swirl it goes the other way. Yeah, dork.
What is that? I don't think-
I'll drink to that.
He's got some good one-liners, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
And geniuses are giving me a hard time.
So-
So Bob wants to know if we're caught up on his S4D bottle hanger set yet.
Almost.
Tonight I cut and drilled 65 bottle hangers.
So there you
So
go.
they're working on it.
We got a massive order went through in some bottle hangers, and we're actually
Yep.
we're in manufacturing.
I am in manufacturing mode. So yeah,
We're
we'll
knee-deep in
get
manufacturing mode.
those.
We're also getting something new and cool to put on the top of the bar up there.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys noticed it was all cleared off.
Thank you, Tom. Wheelhouse, fantastic show. And thanks for
Check
sticking with
on
it
that.
and beating the gremlins into submission.
Yes, thank you,
Tom.
Tom.
My glass is empty.
So is mine. So let's talk
Let's go to
about
the next one.
what do we. So we do have some extra bottles that Jenna sent us, but we're gonna do something else that Sean's been busting my
What?
chops about
What's
for a long time.
Oh,
Give me the green bottle below you.
This guy right here.
This guy.
oh,
So
we gotta break that seal.
To be fair, I was unable to break his iron will.
right, and I just want to be
Thank you,
clear
Tom.
that when I walked out of my house with this in my hand, I looked at my wife and said, "I will be damned if I let Sean drink this entire bottle." So the story behind it,
So
I
you
happened
say.
to pick this bottle up on just a regular outturn, right? I was looking through the outturns and I was like, you know what? That's a 15-year-old HP. I'm interested to see what it's going to taste like. And so I picked it up, and 3 days later it wins double gold in San Francisco and sells out at the SMW. It's gone. So I've been holding on to it. But when we started talking to Jenna, I was going to send her some. She's like, no, I have a bottle.
She showed it.
Mine's getting close to empty.
Oh, see, some people open their whiskey.
Well, just to, all right. So, full transparency, I did order another 15-year-old 4 dot whatever, the latest one that was just released yesterday.
Right.
So hopefully there's
That one's very good too.
Yes, I hope that I have enough to do a comparison. So here, let's just get this over with.
So you're saying we got to restrain ourselves? Is that what I'm
We
hearing?
can't go through the whole bottle tonight.
And I want to say, Scott, thanks to your show the other night, I have a bottle coming to the group as well. It's that abundance of fruitcake that looks so good that you really enjoyed. So we'll have a bottle of that one soon to go through. I'm really excited for that.
You know, that's a good point, Scott.
It was a good show.
It was an awesome show with Ben and the SMWS the other day.
Ben's online.
Ben's.
Yeah, Ben's
Oh,
on
there's
there.
3.305.
Oh, hey,
Hey,
Ben.
Ben, good to see you, bud.
It's been on there.
Yes,
Hi, Ben.
awesome show. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I like Drew said, you know, he coaxed him into buying a bottle.
I was watching the show. I was talking. I was just watching God. He was speechless. I'm like, Mark, give me that bottle.
I know.
I want that bottle.
I posted on there. I'm like, Scott just had a whiskey gasm.
He did, yeah.
He did. Totally hit it with
Just how slow we open that.
Yeah, like,
thing.
come on, pour the thing.
KB.
Doesn't make it any better.
This is exciting.
Man.
Thank you, sir.
I'm going to let you.
KB super chatted 50 for us. Enjoy it. And like, gosh, dang it, KB, you're the man.
All right.
We got proper cheers coming up here. So we're pouring, and I hope you've got a glass poured already of yours.
Oh, yeah.
That's good
We're
pour, too.
excited.
Jackass.
That smells like it was worth the wait right there.
It is. I think that 15 years for this particular distillery is a sweet spot.
Oh, my God.
They had a 15-year that has been discontinued, and that was my Deserted Island whiskey. So anything that I see around 15 years from this distillery, I get really excited for.
So Jenna, keep going. Tell us more about this Scotch. What do you like about it? Give us your opinion.
So about this particular one.
Yes.
So this particular distillery, distillery number 4, that the society has bottled, was one that I really kind of fell in love with off the bat when I first started getting into whiskey. I had the 15-year, and that I think I've probably been through 6 of those bottles just because it was, I loved it. It was just one of my favorite whiskeys. I thought everything that I loved about whiskey was in that particular bottle. So now that it's discontinued, even though I've heard that it will eventually be coming back, this particular one from
honestly,
Chris Ward just seen about
I honestly can't disagree with you on that because I've got the 15 and the 18, the regular bottle, and not saying I don't like the 18. It's a little saltier on price, 3 years older, but
Right.
the 15 stands up toe to toe to it all night.
Yes, I agree. I would take 15 over 18 any day.
There you go.
This smells
This is
amazing. And
awesome.
before we
What is
forget,
that?
George Kaplan, thank
George,
you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Cheers.
sir.
KB as well. We didn't get one. I don't want
We
to drink
did.
this just yet.
We'll drink that one for him.
So
He's
what do we get on
amazing.
the nose here?
So I gotta tell you, you know how
Salted
everybody always
caramel.
busts my chops about wiping this off, you know, and putting on my hands and
So
stuff.
works.
Yes, I do that too.
Do you know what I got out of it? I got peanut butter.
Yes, that's right. Not the salted
Peanut
caramel.
butter.
I did. It's like a nutty, sweet.
I got cotton
Cream.
candy and salted caramel. I'm going to the fair with this glass.
I'm with you. I've got the same ones.
Right?
So when I first, it's interesting because you guys are just opening your bottle. Mine's been open for quite some time, and one of my favorite things about this particular bottle is that it evolves pretty drastically over time as it's been open. So I really love that about it. When I first started drinking this, it was one way, and
Okay, what's the dog's name?
that's Mr. Brown.
I'm Mr. Brown.
Okay, Mr. Brown.
The 120-pound French Mastiff.
Wow. That's a lot.
So
Our resident dog is not that big.
Does Mr. Brown like whiskey?
Doesn't care.
So a little bit about this particular bottle, guys. This is 4.229 Volcanic Jam, a volcanic eruption of sweet heat like raspberry jam bubbling on the stove and roasted pork with herb and honey-coated vegetables. It is bottled at
What a great description.
60.3% ABV, so it's going to punch in the mouth. Was distilled in August of 2001 and refill Butt X sherries, 15 years old.
so smoky porky of that the whole
Smoky porky.
I mean,
Smoky and porky, like bacon.
so it totally
I do
is.
smell this pork.
Man, whoever
It's
writes
kind
for
of
SMWS is amazing. When you taste it, that's what it is. The finish is so. It's not the peaty smoke that you normally get. It's kind of like you've been smoking all day meat. Right?
I almost
It's
smell
soft.
menthol on it.
Salty
too.
and
I think that's partially the
That's alcohol.
ABV.
Yeah.
There's a sooty element to this whiskey that I really love. And I think I'm not a cigar smoker, but I would imagine that this would pair very well with a cigar.
Well, we just got
Yeah.
some cigars today from KB, by
Did
the
you
way. Big
Wow.
box.
Pair this with those cigars.
I said to Sean, when's the last time you offered a guest a Cuban when he came over? And Sean's like, well, who says I'm going to offer him now? He's going to hold on to him.
Hold on to them now.
I definitely need to put some water on there because I'm afraid, so as I taste it, the alcohol kind of it
Punches you in the mouth?
It's punched me a little hard, and I'm not able to enjoy the flavors as much. I'm afraid. So
It will evolve over time. When I first had it too, it was very abrupt and aggressive in a way, but it has evolved really beautifully. I really enjoy drinking this.
So you're saying we need to leave this open for a while and come back and do it again?
Yes, I mean that's any whiskey is gonna evolve as it's opened.
John wants to know where we get these bottles.
John DeVoe.
Yep.
Well, what you?
Oh yeah.
SMWS?
So you know what? We've got Ben Dietrich is on watching. But the SMWS, the Scotch Malt Whiskey Society, is I guess a club, if you will. It's a society, a membership type organization where I am a member of the SMWS. I've been a member for 2 years. So every month they send me their outturns, which are the bottles that they're going to release. And as a member, I can choose to buy them. And the SMWSA for Americas is, I guess, a subsidiary of the one in Scotland. I'm not quite sure if I've got that right. So Ben, correct me if I'm wrong. But Drew and I learned about them when we were in Scotland. And Aquavitae happened to take us to the SMWS Leith location in Edinburgh. And we both bought bottles. I fell in love with it and came right home and became a member. And ever since, I get the magazine every month and look at what's available. And I think what would be good for us to do and maybe what I might want. And I bought probably 3 or 4 bottles in the last year.
Got 3 more coming.
Right. We've got 3 that
do.
will be delivered tomorrow. We're not telling you what they are. I told you Highland Park. But they bottle, it's single cask. So everything that they bottle is a single cask, unadulterated. It's non-chill filtered. It's natural color.
It's awesome.
Every
It's
freaking
straight-
bottle we've had so far has been
Right.
Never had a bad.
The good
Everyone.
news is have not found a dud. Everything has just been phenomenal. The bad news is every one of them is limited. I
Yep.
mean, this
And
is
it's
one of
expensive.
539. So
So
all over
John wants to know,
$120.
is it worth the money?
They're
Yes.
$120, $150 a bottle. So
So I'll ask this question. We've got a lot of commenters tonight that are actually members now after that Ben Dietrich show we did a while back, right? And so
Right.
what do you guys think? Tell us if is
Hey,
it worth
Steve,
it.
thank
I would
you,
say
Steve.
yes
Thanks.
from
Thanks,
ours
Steve.
for sure. But I mean, for you guys, what do you think of that?
So I do. Honestly, yes, when you look at them, you say the prices are expensive.
Yes.
I want to also preface that with what you're getting is cask strength whiskey. This is 60.3%. And it comes down to about $10 a year. I would say $10 to $12 a year. There's a few of them that exceed that to a lot, but some of those bottles I haven't had a
Ridiculous.
chance to get my hands on.
And they're all one-offs.
Right.
And that's the beauty about the society. That's what I love about being a member of the society is that you have an opportunity to buy kind of really once in a lifetime whiskeys because they'll never be recreated. You will never get them again. You cannot get them in any store. There is one place that you can get this rare and unique bottle. And what I really love about single cask whiskeys is that, like, this is a perfect example. This particular cask, if I were to have this blind, I don't know if I would be able to tell you that it was where it comes from because
I think I'd be wrong.
it's nothing like the commercial whiskeys that you're able to pick up in a liquor store. These are really unique versions of what a distillery has to offer. And it is the equivalent of putting a straw in a cask and
It really is.
It's
That's a very good
Interesting. The way they choose to bottle, John specifically, is they have a panel, and when they blind taste everything, and when they think that a particular whiskey is ready, they pull the trigger on it and it gets bottled. So they don't even know what they're tasting when they say it's time to be bottled. I told Jenna a couple days ago, one of the things that I've really found interesting about the society is it's pushed me past my boundaries. I would have never bought a Ben Rennes off the shelf.
No.
I happened to have a glass with Aquavitae in Edinburgh, and I was like, that bottle's coming home with me. But I would have never touched it off of the shelf because I know nothing about that distillery. It pushes you outside of your boundaries. So,
well, and even if you found it, it wouldn't be the same.
that's true. You're right. It wouldn't, because it wouldn't be a single cask bottling of it. But
SMWS takes those casks and puts them in our warehouses, and
Well, you're getting a good quality Scotch, but the cool thing about this is you don't know what you're getting. And it's
exactly
a surprise, and you read that they're great marketing.
Kind of figure it out.
I'm sure if you're really into that, you can definitely discover what it is. But the point is, you're like, this sounds delicious. I don't know what it is, but I'm really excited to try it. And then you try it, you're like, this is damn good.
Well,
Right?
and that for us, it's that
It's a
way.
surprise.
Now, if you're in Scotland or anywhere in Edinburgh or even in London where they have SMWS bars, dude, you have to have a membership card to get in.
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to sample some stuff.
Sure.
You can buy
You got to do the
drink.
handshake.
Yeah, of course, the link and
I don't give a nod.
there are some partner bars scattered throughout the states. A couple in Seattle. There's one or two in
New York.
DC, New York.
Not quite the same set.
It's not quite the same. They do have some SMWS bottles that you can sample, and if you have your membership card, you get a 10% discount on the floor. But I think it's where I've renewed my membership. It's $99 for the first year, and then it's $79 I think for every year after. Actually, Ben, if you're on, throw your spiel out. I think right now, if you join membership, you get a $50 gift card towards your first bottle or something.
Oh,
like
that's
that.
good.
So,
That's a good deal.
yeah, right.
Hey, Alan wants to know which distillery it is.
4 is Highland Park.
it's Highland Park. Yes.
4 is
There you
Highland
go.
Park, and the
And we
229.
sold John on this deal. He's in.
Yeah.
So .229 means that this is the 229th cask that the SMWS has bottled from that particular
Oh, yeah.
distillery, which
I haven't
is
even-
number 4 is.
I'm just
Highland
letting it
Park.
sit, man.
Correct.
It's wonderful.
I love it. I am so glad it's here. I'm so glad I pulled the trigger on this one. It's one of those. I've got
Did
a
you
couple
put water
bottles
on
at
it?
home now, Jen. I've got a
Yeah?
Glen Grant, I've got a Bumore, and I've got a Highland Park. My Ben Rennes is gone. I think we killed that here.
Yeah, we did.
I have to say you are exactly right. This thing has evolved on me, and it's like a different Scotch now. It's oh my gosh, it's so good. The water on it.
It's like one of those jawbreakers. It's like layers and layers of flavor and just
That's amazing.
gobstopper. That's what they are.
When I have
It's a
my
little
second
longer.
glass later, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it for a long time.
We got a little whiskey to drink yet.
So I've been adding water to this because right now,
It's strong.
that's the thing. So the alcohol is I'm a person that likes the rich, heavy scotches, and this for Highland Park seems pretty light. It does.
Really?
I'm not getting like rich, deep flavors. There's smoke in there, but it's not 100% cooking.
Did you pour the wrong thing in
I'm
your
not-
glass?
I'm absolutely loving it. I gotta be honest with you.
Some good flavor out of this.
Jenna hit the nail on the head when she said if you blindfolded me, if you blindfolded me, I would have guessed this one came from a little island in the southwest.
Yeah, it's not. That's the beauty about single cask, versus typical commercialized whiskeys that we can buy is that they really are kind of the exception, and they don't. And I think that's why the society bottles them the way they do. They don't put distillery names on there just so you don't go into it, with this like preconceived notion that it's going to taste a certain way. Or you're going to like it or you're not going to like it. You just go into it for what it is, like a beautiful single cask whiskey, and it gives you an opportunity to really dissect it. And another beautiful thing about single cask whiskey is you can always add water. You can always bring it down to a level that's comfortable for you. You're just getting it in its most pure form. And then it's up to you to really, play with it to get it to where you like it.
Much better said than what I said.
Yeah, I'm liking the finish. It's a nice long, smoky kind of ready finish. I am liking that.
I would have said, to your point, but not to yours, I would not have thought Isla. I would have thought more Highland Park. It's reminds me of Highland Park.
no.
Well, it's the smoke is more subtle than an island. You typically the islands are like.
Well, but I'm pretty good with
I'm not saying Laphroaig
so,
or Lagavulin. I'm saying I think it could have been mistaken for. There's other distilleries on there for a Kilhoman or.
See, I get more of the sweet out of this.
Now that it's watered down, I think I get much more heather.
Yeah.
I smell a lot more of that. But the initial nose at 60.3, right out of the bottle, punch you in. It was.
That was pretty high.
Just to give you an example, so the Highland Park that you ordered from this current outturn, I was actually in New York on Monday and was able to attend the outturn tasting there, and the tasting was done blind. And it was kind of funny to hear it. That's the beauty about doing things blind is you don't know anything about it. So you're just really going off of your personal experience. And the Highland Park that was tasted, people didn't think it was Highland Park. So
I love
you
it.
just never know. Yeah.
It's really
it's
good.
a winner.
It's really good.
Winner. I'm a lucky guy.
So we got a request for Mark. You need to send John DeVoe an invite so you get the invited friend discount.
Oh yeah, I get a little credit I think towards my next purchase if John. So John, hold out. Don't run out there on the website right now. I'll send you an invite tomorrow.
Your membership will help us get into the club.
Right. You know what? Even if he did run out there, I'd be calling Ben and be like, "Hey man, come on,
man.
Throw us a bone, Ben."
Ben will take care of you. If you have any questions, just call Ben.
Honestly,
he doesn't do anything anyway. He just sits around and drinks whiskey all day. So just call him.
So
that's what I want to do.
I have an SMWS question. So do they have access to all the distilleries, or are they limited?
So I think the numbers up to, it's over, that they've bottled, I believe is over 130. And now they're bottling rums and armagnacs and cognacs and bourbons.
Yeah.
I think there are some bourbons coming out at the end of the year. So I think it's,
Remember they were talking about.
I don't really know their method to the madness.
So all distilleries, that's the question. So
you guys
are all distilleries willing to sell them casks? It
Right.
sounds like it. With 140 different distilleries, who's not giving them stuff?
well, and ironically
one guy,
enough, I think one
Wolfburn.
thing that allows the SMWS access to some distilleries that other independent bottlers don't get access to is because the SMWS keeps things anonymous.
Yes.
There are distilleries out there that don't want their identity on the bottle if they didn't bottle it. Okay.
Fair.
So the SMWS's method with their numbering and whatnot, they can get by that. I know they're up to 138
It's 138.
on their numbering system, right? So
But
and that's just Scotch. They
Okay.
are into grains, they're into rums, they're into cognacs.
Okay.
So
they're talking, like even Tom even just talked about, they are in bourbons. I don't remember the interview,
Bourbons.
the live interview that you guys had.
right.
So you can
And then I
probably
think
get
Scott
bourbons
had
through
also.
them that you can't get normally.
Exactly. Exactly.
The SMWS Pappy Van Winkle.
I just hope they bottle a Weller. I'm just trying to get some Weller 12 up in here and not pay $300 for it.
I am too. It is nowhere in Indiana.
It's okay. It's nowhere here in California either.
Really?
No, I've seen it for over $300 a bottle, and I just tell the people to kick rocks. I'm not paying that.
That's just
You know, Tom's going to ask you.
Spigot.
Yeah,
nice.
I know what Tom's going to ask me.
What's that?
We'll ignore that question.
He hasn't said it yet, but he's going to ask you.
Now you just reminded him.
Yep.
All right,
thanks a
so
lot.
final thought on the volcanic jam. I'm impressed with it.
delicious.
I have a
Amazing.
final thought. My pour was light.
Your pour was not light. Your pour was not light. You see this, Jenna? I'm telling you.
That's how it works.
I like the way he thinks.
Did you see the
I'm supporting you. It was a light pour.
So Highland Park 15, correct?
That's what you got right now. At 60.3%.
Jenna, you could be a Scotch for Dummy honorary. I mean, 6 dummies, you're part of the club.
Yeah,
I'm
we
down.
do a
Pull
coin.
up a stool, we'll send you a coin, we'll be good to
You
go.
even talk like us. It's great.
Boy.
Quotes and all.
She sounds a lot.
Are you a big movie fan? That's all you need to be.
I like terrible movies.
Mm,
Oh, I have a
Vast
whole bunch of
plethora.
terrible.
Stay with us for a while. You're
Sean
gonna
has
love
some terrible movies, yes.
It's
So-
part of the show.
We still have these other bottles right here. These are all, well, these two are SMWS, so they're going to be cask strength too. Do we want to even worry about the
Whatever
Smoky
she wants to
Monkey?
do.
Or what do you want to do, Jenna? Would you want to get into one of these bottles here?
I am open to really anything. We have a peated SMWS that we can get into, but maybe we want to like a heavily or more heavily peated. And we have a rum.
I know. I'm kind of intrigued by that. I've never.
Which is this? So this particular one it's at 54%, and it's the nose on it is like I open it in my house and it just fills the room. It has a really powerful nose. It's unique. I'm not super familiar with rum, so this has been a new journey for me. But I mean, we can always get into the Smoky Monkey too.
I'll tell you what, I kind of want to try the rum just because I've been intrigued ever since I saw SMWS.
I'm down.
I'm sorry.
All right, so can we do this after Highland Park?
I don't know. But you know what we could do?
I bet we can.
We could, well, maybe
We
should
got
go
some
smoky.
marzipan down there we could eat.
We could do the smoking, the monkey
We
smoke.
could break our palate with some marzipan or some.
Or maybe you should do the rum at the end because it's like a dessert.
We'll do the rum at the end because
Okay.
Go down to the
The-
Smoky.
It's sweet.
Smoky Monkey would be better now because we've got a little smoke, and then we can kind of
You know, it's
hang down
not
the
Smoky
rum.
Monkey's not going to compare to this.
I know.
No, it won't. But
To me, the cask strength is the more important of the two versus the smoke. I didn't think this was smoky.
So
I
what's
thought it was
It-
sweet and tasty.
But it doesn't have. I mean, to your point, it isn't
I get a
smoky.
tang on it now.
But
it's more sooty. It's more like
right. Yes. Yeah.
soot. It's not smoke as
I get-
much. It's like ashy almost.
Yes. I
It'll
would
really
agree.
take a second glass for me to give my.
Yeah, you
I
might have to
think-
wait
I
on
think
that
it's
one.
in a glass, Mark.
So, because the
Just give the man a straw.
There's some down there.
All right.
The only thing going for me on that is the 60.3. He won't make it to the bottom.
I'll take bets on it.
Don't threaten him with a good time.
His liver is
Listen.
like Superman.
I've stayed up with
He'll
him.
make
and
it there, but
We've done it. We've gone toe to toe. I'm just saying. I think 60.3 would be enough to put this man in the hospital.
man, have you mooted that down?
It's not even a full bottle anymore.
You refill the water so we can wash our glasses.
All right.
I want to taste that rum.
So what are we doing here?
Apparently the rum.
Rum?
I thought we were doing that
we'll
last.
do the Smoky Monkey next.
Okay, Smoky Monkey
All right.
it is.
Okay.
I gotta finish mine still. Hold on.
Pushing everybody tonight.
Well, I mean, it's already 11 o'clock, dude. We got to go.
Oh, we had late start.
Yeah, we did screw things up.
He wants to watch the movie.
What are we watching tonight?
What We Do in the Shadows.
What we do in the
end of What We Do
shadow.
Is it the one we didn't finish? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
doc.
with Jermaine Clement, right?
It's a pseudo documentary about 4 vampires that live together in a house
It's the
in New
funniest
Zealand.
thing I've seen.
It is. It has Jermaine Clement in it. I love him.
See?
I'm
She knows bad movies.
We're getting you a hat that says the 5th dummy. It's done. I mean, you know that. You're already.
Have you watched Black Dynamite before?
But the problem is you're not a dummy. You're too smart, so it doesn't help.
Yeah.
No, you guys could teach me a few things.
All right, so you're pouring. Let's see what's
so
going
we're
on.
pouring the Smoky Monkey.
Yes. So this sits at 40%. So keep that in mind. This was made to use in cocktails. It wasn't made to be, cask strength there. So don't expect that from it.
I love it.
But so this particular one, it's a blend as well, but the peated malt that they use in it comes from their Gerben distillery where Hendrix is also distilled. It's called Elsa Bay. This is the peated malt that is in Smoky Monkey. So yeah. So this is at 21 parts per million, and then it has a sweet ppm of 11. So I don't really know what the scale is for ppm. I don't know how high or low, or I'm not too familiar with that scale, but I know the whiskey on its own is very good.
So Malted Montreal Swami
Is he on?
is in Southern California at a local bar knocking back some pints. So we just want to say hi to him. He's watching.
Nice.
He's in LA.
Where are you in Southern California? I haven't even been looking at the comments.
It says Southern Cal Bar.
Yeah, so he just drove Route 66 from Chicago to LA.
Nice.
Motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome.
And I will say, Swami, your videos have been awesome. Just the watcher, I've been following every one of your videos and to go with you. You've done a great job in that. It's been fun to watch.
Good job.
Yeah, he's been making his way across the country. Good for him.
Oh man, this actually has a really nice
This
nose.
smells like
So,
smoked pork barbecue.
I wish we
does.
I wish we would have
Pork
done this
barbecue.
first
Yes.
because the 40% is just.
Well, I know it's going to be let down, but I'm going to try and get
But
past
I know
Just take it for what it is.
I know for a fact
Exactly.
if this was the first glass I had tonight, it would be a different story. But I love the nose.
Oh my
I
gosh,
actually
that's-
love the flavor. It
it's
just
like-
tastes
it's like
watered down.
It's like a smoky beef jerky. That
Hey, perfect. That's it. Beef jerky. I like that.
You know, just the first nose smells like a light quarter cask to me.
The 4 cask.
Yeah, I mean, but a lightened version of it. Not, I mean,
Ooh.
I've killed a couple bottles of that.
We're gonna kill another one later.
I do love the quarter cask. That's one of my favorite Laphroaigs. I really enjoy the quarter cask.
yeah, it's good. I'll give you that quarter cast. That kind of that
Sweet.
cake batter.
That-
You
that
gotta get that
sweet and
barbecue
smoky.
in there, man.
But
alive.
you open some of those. What's that brand that
Slim Jim,
Slim
baby.
Jim.
Snap.
So,
Oh my gosh, that's Slim Jim.
this local barbecue place, Divine 2 Barbecue, that they make some of the best pork ribs. They just smoke. You don't need barbecue sauce on them. You just eat them, and the smoke just rolls out of them. That's what this is. So I'm getting that smoke.
Yeah.
I'm getting that sweetness and that juiciness. That
The nose
It's-
is like, okay. So if to your point, yes, we've just had a really high ABV, everything else. But just so you know, from a level perspective, why you said I totally get it now. The nose is like right here, and the palate is like way down here
I
as
know.
far as does not
Yes.
even eat. But
the
I
palate's
know
good.
it's
It just
there.
tastes watered down compared.
Sure. Well, because it is.
Yeah. Exactly.
So the way I look at this is, nights that maybe you want something that's a little peated, but you don't want like a peat punch to the face. This is, I don't know. It's just just like Monkey Shoulder. It's like a good kind of everyday easy sipper. This is the same thing. It's just a good, easy peated sipper.
Pork barbecue all night long.
I mean,
But yes, I'm with you on the barbecue.
this is the one. This is a perfect mixer for Bloody Mary,
Penicillin.
for an old fashioned. You get that a little bit of that smoke in there.
Yeah.
That's great character to it.
I think a Bloody Mary would be great with this.
Or just straight for breakfast.
Or dessert.
Try that.
Poured over the oysters.
I mean,
Yes.
Bacon.
See?
some bacon.
We're
That's
the same way.
All of those
It is
things
a
will
big
work fine.
contrast though from the nose to the palate. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
The
very
nose is
smooth.
awesome.
It's great. The nose is just so powerful. I mean, compared to the palate, big jump.
so.
Let me
What
have
was
that
it?
quarter cask.
So we know the three
Oh, by
in the
the
blend of
old-
regular Monkey Shoulder.
Oh,
Did you
is it?
say the exact three that were? Or is there?
Yeah, she's got.
I don't know if they're the same. I've asked that to a few people and it has not been answered directly. So I'm not 100% sure what the actual blend is. I just know that the peated part of it comes from Elsa Bay.
Quarter cask.
So we have
This
a couple
is
comments for you, Jenna.
Yeah.
Do a little quick intro on your channel. They ask about if you have a YouTube channel. I don't think you have a YouTube channel.
I don't. So I have just my Instagram account, which is Whiskey a Go Girl, and it's whiskey spelled correctly, no E. And
Ouch.
I love all whiskey. I don't discriminate against any. I'm happy to experiment with any kind of whiskey. But I'm on Instagram at Whiskey a Go Girl. My website is whiskeyagogirl.com. And that's really where you can find me for the most part.
But the beauty is she spells whiskey right.
Yeah, but to be honest, we were talking earlier before the show started. Her pictures are amazing. They're really cool.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you.
So that's the thing that
Thank you.
our Instagram presence is fairly weak relative to our YouTube.
But Mike's gonna take it over. So
But the thing about Whiskey Go Girl is the imagery. I mean, the framing and the
Yeah.
imagery is so much better than we've ever done, and I think that's a big boost for
the eye of the
Instagram.
beholder. Yeah, she does a
Yeah.
great job.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's fun.
And you've also kind of mastered the platform, though. I mean, before you even
It's just
started this
indulgence.
whiskey journey,
Not the
you
same flavor.
were using Instagram to market another business, right?
Right. I ran my entire business through Instagram.
Right.
So I was really familiar with it. And so kind of stepping into the whiskey side was still scary, but I was somewhat familiar with at least the platform part of it.
Right, with at least the communication portion,
Right.
how to reach the audience, and obviously.
Well, I mean, the whiskey community is such a special thing, and I have met some really fascinating people who are friends, that I can call at any time, and I feel really lucky to be a part of it.
Well, we're not going to call it anytime soon, but we'd love to have you on the show, multiple times if you're interested.
I would be happy to join you fellas anytime.
Awesome. And then hopefully we'll get some more, because actually I'm curious, the guys on tonight, the viewers tonight, let us know, do you guys get on the Instagram a lot? I'm curious to see on what the...
We just had a comment that her Instagram is fantastic, and we should step up our gram game.
We suck on the Instagram thing. I'm not going to lie. We just...
So,
thank you.
3,500 subscribers on YouTube. We have over 1,000 on Twitter. We have like 250 on Instagram.
Yeah, we
don't play that game as well.
But the interesting thing is that all the social platforms have a value, and depends on who you're talking to and what's not.
Absolutely.
Because you've got different markets, right? I mean, and the Scotch world, if you will, is a smaller market than the whiskey world, right?
Yeah, for sure.
You got people on different platforms, and I think we have to hit all of them fairly equally. I think the YouTube has a huge market. Obviously, the Twitter is even bigger as far as tweet, but so is Instagram. Instagram's a hot social platform.
It is. It's way hotter than Facebook or anything.
Absolutely. So, I mean, I think we need to put some more effort in that.
I will say that on my hand, smelling it, it smells like I walked in to a barbecue restaurant.
I told you. That's that hand rub.
Everybody wants to make fun of my famous hand rub.
It's great. My husband does the same. He's actually the one who taught me how to do that. He always rubs it on his hands and smells it. And
who did that? I'm going to miss that.
Her husband.
Your husband. Okay.
Yeah, and but everyone gets something different. So you smell your hands, and then smell the guy across from you hand, and it's different. It's just everything's different. So, but that's the beauty about whiskey, is we all take something different from it. We all have different noses and palates, and it's a different personal experience for all of us. So that's the fun part of it.
I think the beauty of Instagram is it's a different way of looking. Twitter is more about words, and Instagram is that visual aspect. And it tells you, because I was a UX designer for years, and it's all about the picture. People love pictures. They want to see something, and I think it says a lot about your whiskeys when you take good shots. I mean, look at what Scotch Trooper does.
He's phenomenal.
Right?
Yeah. We're talking about the Scotch world, the whiskey tube world or whatever. It is a small community, Jenna. There's great people. We've really been fortunate. We've met a ton of really cool people, whether they're whiskey tubing or watching, because you see a lot of the same people on but it's pretty fun. I've actually had a chance to meet some of them, out and about. I was in New York.
Yeah.
And they actually invited him back.
I think his wife was going to leave him there too.
We had an over-under on that, actually.
Yeah. So, Jenna, we had a comment. So there's a whiskey expo here in Indy. It's actually a pretty big one for us, for Indy, and it's in October?
October, yeah.
Okay.
They asked if you travel, would like to come. So I don't know if you've got a budget for travel or not, but in October, it's a pretty good whiskey expo. Last year, we actually did a full, is it 4 hours?
4 hour live
4 hour live show stream there. So we would,
cool.
if you're interested, let us know, because we're going to be going to it again this year.
Okay, and that's in October?
Yeah. It was fun. We actually interviewed some of the ambassadors. We lined up interviews for it. We had a 4 hour running show, and 2 of us were on at all times during the 4 hours while the other 2 are out drinking, hitting on the tables and stuff.
We didn't get nearly enough time.
We got to try some really good stuff.
We did have a chance to try some really good stuff, because some of the ambassadors we know, at any of those shows, they always have a pour list, but behind the pour list, there's always something special.
Like a little sample bottle.
That is true. I just love when they pull out that unmarked bottle.
Exactly.
Like, what is that? It's like unicorn tears. You're gonna drink it, and you're gonna love it.
Pour it in this glass, and I will love it.
Yes.
Let's be on this.
So Do you guys want to get into one of these other two SMWSs? There, one is the Laphroaig. It's a 29. What is
18-year Laphroaig.
Yeah, so we're
refill Oloroso.
56.8% ABV. Oof, refill Oloroso.
So I have a question for you. Are you matching us drink for drink here?
Am I?
She has
I've had a few. I have a few. Look, I have all my glasses.
I don't even remember how many grams I've had.
I'm thinking.
Well,
5 o'clock in the
we're gonna
morning.
I try to just put enough water in between each dram and.
See, she has an advantage though. Okay.
What's the
Why,
advantage?
7
What's the
o'clock?
advantage?
She's in LA. What time is it there?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Doesn't mean nothing to me. I'll stay up.
Nah. You're not even working tomorrow.
I'm off tomorrow.
I'm working tomorrow, but I don't.
No, I'll go get another bottle. You guys figure out what you're pouring.
All right. So Jenna, what do you want to do next? It's your call.
I really love the Laphroaig. I'm just a big fan of Laphroaig in general. So
Done.
that is, it's really beautiful. I think the rum is something
Unique.
it's special and it's very unique. So I think having time to really digest and sit with it and get familiar with it is what I would recommend doing. Just because it is something, I have never had anything like it. The first time I ever had it, I was like, whoa, what? This isn't rum. What is this? So I would recommend, really getting cozy on the couch with it. So to speak.
I've done a couple of high-end rum tastings, and when you get into higher-end rums, it's kind of like getting into good Scotch.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not drinking, Bacardi. It's a whole different deal.
Tom's online, so you can ask him about the rule.
So Jenna, Tom R. You probably know Tom. He's everywhere. He's a great guy. He did say if you come to the indie show, the Whiskey Expo, he will bring you a bottle of Weller 12.
Done deal. Buying my ticket tonight.
Tom, you must know that's all it took.
That's very sweet. I will have to look at that date and see if I can squeeze that in. I do have a few travel things coming up in the year, so.
Anyway, just letting you know.
So what did you guys?
Wonderful.
Laphroaig.
Oh, you did.
Laphroaig, yes.
I'm a huge fan of Laphroaig. I've got
Me too.
a quote that I put on Laphroaig. It's my wheelhouse, totally. Wheelhouse. Drink.
Hold on.
He's got
But so
poured out.
a year or two ago when they did the send in your quote and we'll put it on a poster and he'll send it to you. I did that. I've loved Laphroaig ever since you get that charcoal heated on the Laphroaig 10, 18. And so the beauty of Laphroaig is that the older you get, the more tame that peat gets. That smoke kind of comes down.
Can you give me the print?
Yeah, it's definitely not like a Laphroaig
Oh,
10,
is
right? That smack.
No, that is very industrial and fierce.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it makes it's great in a cocktail.
Yes, that's where I had the first time I had a Scotch cocktail was an old fashioned with Laphroaig 10. And so that punch of peat balanced with that bitters and sugar, man, it's money.
Yeah, I just made a cocktail and I just washed the glass with Laphroaig 10 and just even the aroma of Laphroaig 10 in a cocktail is really nice.
Bar soap with that or something, right?
So Bob was just thinking how much it would be, how much of a blast it would be to get this whole group together in person. Where could we go and all get together and have a good time together?
I think we should do it in Scotland, Bob.
So you say Laphroaig is
We're working on
them,
it.
Jenna.
Stand by.
What's your go-to Laphroaig?
So I really love the porter cask, like I said earlier, and I really like the select as well. I think they're. So I think that they're priced really well, and I think that I would take that over maybe the 10-year. I had the lore, and I wasn't overly impressed with it. It fell a little short for me, but I mean, you get into some of the older Laphroaigs. SMWS had one called Dram for a Danish Fisherman, which I believe was a 20-year. And it was probably one of my favorite Laphroaigs I've ever had. It was really beautiful. But I like the select and I like the quarter cask.
Quarter cask is great.
Quarter cask
It's
is
like a
awesome.
seaweed going on there.
I got cake batter all the time.
So
That one.
I just had that quarter cask, and I can totally taste that. This is like a punched up version.
Mhm.
You know
It's
what I mean?
good. And then the Carchus, the 2018, actually, I just got that, and it is. I had to put it away because I'm gonna hide it because I will just go for it every time. It is so damn good.
Backyard.
John,
Yeah, I'm gonna like bury it out there with the dog. Like have the dog go bury it.
so Mark John said that he agrees with Jenna that the select is good for a price, regardless of what dummies think. So we
It
we're
is.
not very fond of this.
No.
So, well, no, I did read Jenna's blog on Laphroaig today because I was interested in that, and because that's like one of your most recent blogs as well. You know, kind of a combination of the four core for Laphroaig.
Right.
And I can totally see where you're coming from. It is priced to sell. It is a dilute version of Laphroaig in kind of our opinion. But it's kind of.
But too, it's like you have to look at whiskey like, at least for me, whiskey's what I gravitate towards on, you know, a nightly basis, I guess you could say. It's really based on my mood. So maybe I want something that isn't as intense. Maybe I do want something that's a little more diluted, or, you know, maybe I want something that's more on the sweet side, or it's just, you know, whiskey it's.
Have you tasted this?
What are you
I
talking
think
to?
so. The select. So my opinion on the select is it's a watered down Laphroaig, right? It's basically what you're getting for me. But to your point, that might be exactly what you're looking for in that moment of the night. Which I get that you want. I just want a little bit of Laphroaig, but I don't want the full body of Laphroaig. I just want a little bit of watered down without having to mess with it. And I don't know.
Right.
We try to be consistent on every review on the price, the bottle, the taste, and what we're getting out of it, and the value. And I think for us, if I remember at the time, the price is what threw us for the select at the time. What kind of pushed us overboard. So there it is.
Oh, that is so nice.
It's good, right?
It's just
Yeah.
richness, and it's that wood and
The mouthfeel is, it just totally just takes over your whole palate.
it tastes like a not seaweed, but almost like a salted fish.
I got sawdust too.
Oh man,
Sawdust. I can see that.
I get sandalwood on my hands. To me, the Laphroaig, obviously the quarter cask is a love. That's a go-to dram for me. I always have a bottle of that at home because I think it's affordable and it gives me what I want.
We wouldn't know.
I really like the lower. You just finished one. You just
Not at your house.
right. Keep the door locked. Freaking luscious. Getting liver
Just so
transplant.
you know, we're all like a block from each other. We're
like two houses from each other.
I love that. It's like the neighborhood whiskey club.
Exactly
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's rad.
I like the lore just as much. It's just I think the lore is a little bit more higher price. It's
I
like,
don't think it's worth the price.
and so that's why I stick with the quarter cask. I mean, obviously, I think if I had my druthers, if you just gave me a blank check, I'd go and get myself an old Laphroaig because I do seem to appreciate it the more it ages. I don't know.
It does age really beautifully, like a fine wine.
But this is interesting. I might have to put a little drop on this one. I was looking what the ABV was.
Yeah, so this is so it is 56.8 or I'm sorry, 56.8%, 18-year. It's 29.226, and it was distilled on the 25th of March 1999, and it is a refill Oloroso butt.
So for me,
Seaside surprise.
so the beauty,
One of 420 bottles.
so the beauty of the aged, the high peated, high cask strength whiskeys is I don't feel that alcohol burn on those high peated scotches.
There's something
I just
about
love
peat and ABV that there's a relationship between the two where one masks the other. I really agree with you on
You don't
that.
notice until after you've had 6 or 7 glasses that you're even drinking it, right?
That's the thing. So this is so good in that it's that potency of flavor and it doesn't burn your head off.
It doesn't. It's very decadent. It's like rich and it's like it's like a good peated chocolate cake.
Mm-hmm.
Just like sits with you and
Yeah.
makes you happy and
Yep.
She said it.
Cake batter.
So I've always said cake batter from the very beginning, and I'm glad you said that. So John wants to know about Deanston. Is this the one coming out on Monday?
Yes.
Okay. So John, on Monday, you'll see the review of this one. It's actually a really good bottle.
Awesome. So this bottle was my bribe to buy a different bottle.
And I was totally fine with it because I'm in love with Deanston.
Yeah.
So what do you think of Deanston, Jenna?
I don't know even. I have one on the shelf in there. I don't even really know what it is. I'm not overly familiar with them. I haven't had a lot of their range.
Oh,
So-
you're missing out.
Story.
We stumbled into them, maybe 6-8 months ago, guys?
Yeah.
And now we've tore through probably 4 or 5 different bottles.
We've got
and
2 on
it's,
the bar right now.
I don't even know what I have in there.
The Deanston
12 year maybe?
probably my favorite Scotch right now of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Wow, that's a bold statement.
It is.
I really like this bottle.
That's a good bottle too.
Jenna, you may get a sample of this one.
Yeah, I think you need a sample of this.
samples.
I won't complain about it.
About your palate. I'm trying to put a pin on your palate here, Jenna. And
I like really viscous, intense whiskeys. I
Well,
like things that make me kind of take a step back and be like, whoa, what am I drinking?
Well,
I like
We got some bottles for you.
right. So I'm thinking, I'm trying to pin her palate down because I want to send her one of the dummy coins here, right? And I'm like, okay, which one epitomizes her? Which one relates closest to her? I'm not.
She's not.
She's not getting my coin because that's just
I've
PC.
heard what your point is.
Right.
Not
It's
totally
PC wrong.
Well, I
But so is it burnt toast, marzipan, or wheelhouse? And right now, I'm thinking burnt toast might be.
I'm with you on the burnt toast. I'm like a toast aficionado. So you are spot on.
that happened.
She's an aficionado. Oh shoot! All right, well that's a done deal.
Done deal.
That was
Look at that.
Oh man, with some with a few samples of Scotch though, because we do have some things that
Wow.
enjoy.
I will return the favor and send you guys.
Vince,
Sure, I have some stuff around here. I'll send it to you.
The park is lit. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, the
Man,
wheels
Ben,
came
I wish
off.
I- Ben, I was so I was in Chicago the last couple days, boys. I really wanted to meet up with Tom. I couldn't do it. Ben, I wanted to give you a call. It was crazy, but I was at this cool bar last night called the Flight Club. It's a flight club, it's darts. It was the coolest bar I've been to.
So
in
did
a
you
long
pitch
time.
darts last night?
Dude, I crushed it.
No, you're the man.
I crushed it. But I was drinking all kinds of scotch. It was crappy scotch, but I was thinking about
Johnny Red.
So here's the thing. It was a company thing, and we had a minimum tab basically, and then in the night we still had some money left over. We had to drink some money, right? I'm like, all right, what scotch should I get? Well, what's your most expensive scotch? It was like $50. I'm like, what is it? Johnny Walker Gold.
Ugh,
18 or reserve?
Just normal.
The
gold.
old-
I don't know what it is.
the current gold.
$50?
That's what it was. Yeah.
For a
So you know what I said?
For a bottle?
I said, give me the spice tree.
damn right.
I know that.
Spice Tree is way better than,
I know that.
I'd ask to see the bottle before I give him $50. And if it was the 18 centenary blend, maybe
No one's gonna have that.
No, I found one in DC. I was at a bar in DC one time, and I asked the guy. I said, "Let me see that bottle." There was one glass left, and I'm like, "How much to finish that bottle?" And the guy's like, $18. I'll drink it out of the bottle.
Yeah.
Idiot. They don't make that shit anymore.
Poured in my hands for a quarter.
Right. I don't know. But I'm glad to hear that you freaking tore it up in the dark. But we haven't pitched darts in a long
That place
time.
was awesome. If we had something like that in here, it would be packed every night.
We got a dartboard.
Wow. When I come to Indy and claim my bottle of Weller 12, I will challenge you all to darts.
Oh, damn, she's going down. I know. You said she don't want. I bet she's like a freaking ace.
Triple 20.
You mean I don't have to throw it with my left hand?
My eyes closed.
Right now, this is awesome.
Oh my gosh, man.
Burnt toast and all.
Yeah.
I love it. Burnt toast.
I
I'll
honestly-
take it.
I definitely am enjoying the nose on this.
It's a great
It
Scotch.
is a Laphroaig. There's no second guessing the nose on it.
So this is your warehouse.
I
This
did
is
put a little bit of
totally
water in
good.
it
That's
to
really
try
good.
and make
Dude,
it more.
this-
Really good.
So
It's a decadent Laphroaig. It's
I'm assuming
like a.
one that's not available anymore.
I'm not too sure. You would have to ask Ben. Give him a call and see. I'm not 100% sure if it's available or not.
I definitely get some saltiness out of it.
29.226.
There's,
Oh, yeah.
there's definitely
It's
I
that.
really.
Talk to me.
The finish on it is my favorite. It really just kind of sticks to your palate, and even though you're done drinking it, it still kind of evolves on the palate, and I really love that it's really full of surprises.
That's what I love about a good heavy Scotch like this is that you can take a sip, you can work on the computer, you can read a book, do whatever, and then every
mow the
10
lawn,
minutes, every 10 minutes,
work on your car.
You don't have to drink this like Jack Daniels where you have to keep shooting it. It's just like you take a sip,
It's
walk
good.
away.
Yeah.
It's good.
What was the what's your bottle number of your Laphroaig that you brought home from Scotland? Is that gone already?
No, I think we still have that.
A warm treat right there.
Yeah, warm treat. Yeah.
What's the number on it? What's the cask number?
Yeah, 132.
130.
Ooh,
C132.
wow.
There is.
Let me
It's
see
empty.
it. Let me see
There's
it.
nothing in it.
No, that's not it. That's my Ben Rennis. That's 36 132.
I was like, wow, 132. That's
It have to be
I think we killed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we killed
29.
your 29.
To be
The
fair,
bottle's
we
gone.
kill everything.
We do kill a lot of
What is
whiskey.
that?
I'm a fan of opening everything.
So when I was in a
I think I was saving it for him to see
SMWS
if he
partner
wanted
bar in Seattle, and I don't
just put it
remember the
down
name
there.
of the bar.
Cannon.
There's 3 different partner bars up in Seattle.
We still have this though.
I happened to have a 29, and it was I don't remember the number, but I remember the name of it. It was Popeye at Trafalgar,
Mm-hmm.
and boy, that was a very powerful 29. That was a powerful Laphroaig.
That's a weird name.
Yeah, it was definitely a punch in the
The
face.
spinach
It
is on
was gonna let you know it was there. But it was, you're in a partner bar, so you're paying bar prices for the dram, and I want to say that one was like $50 or something. So it was fun to enjoy and try, but
Right.
they didn't even bother to give me my 10% discount for being a member or anything. They didn't appreciate membership out there. But now Jack Rose in DC, if you go to Jack Rose in DC and you show your SMWS card, they'll definitely give you 10% on, and they've got quite a selection of SMWS
I've
bars.
heard that's a really great bar
Oh,
in general. Yeah.
Great food and just a hell of a selection. I mean, if you want it and they don't have it, then you're
Then you don't need it.
In the wrong place.
Instagram is for weirdos. Listen, on that note,
That's true.
It is 11:30.
Yeah, we took this one
I
30
don't know
minutes
how longer we ever have. I know it was a slow start, but Jenna, thank you so much. It's been a great.
It was an awesome.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me come on and
And
ramble on about whiskey.
yeah, before we shut off here, what's in the future for Whiskey A Go Girl? What's on the horizon? What do you got coming up?
That's a good question. There are some exciting things in the works that I can't quite speak of yet. I just want to continue to learn as much as I can about this industry and about all of the whiskeys that fill the industry, and surround myself with the people that make the industry run. So as long as I'm doing that, then I'm happy. So we'll see what happens.
I do have to ask, so all of us have other jobs other than whiskey. Do you currently do work other than like whiskey work, or is this your full-time job?
That's a good question. I'm a full-time mom and a homeschooling full-time mom.
Oh my God.
And yeah, so I'm very busy, and whiskey has come into my life and really kind of thrown me a curveball. So I'm excited to see how it transforms and where we end up. But yeah, that's really all I can say right now.
Well, I'll say you made a lot of friends with our reviewers tonight. They're loving you.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're ready. So, anytime you're willing to be on the show again, we'd love to have you.
Yeah,
Well, I appreciate the kind invite and the warm welcome. I'm happy to join you fellas anytime.
looking
Awesome.
forward to crossing paths with you somewhat
Yes.
there in the whiskey world, because it is a small community, but it's a wonderful community.
It
There's
sure
a lot
is.
of great people that we really enjoy, whether it's the other tubers from the Test Dummies, the Whiskey and the Six, and there's a whole plethora of them. We really enjoy all of them and all of the subscribers. This has been fun. It's been fun talking to you offline.
Thank you.
For this. I'm excited about where this goes with us. We'll see what happens in the future. Maybe October happens.
We'll see. I'm coming for that bottle of Weller.
Tom shows up with a trunk full of
I
booze.
know. He really.
It's gonna be some bootleg fake Weller just to get me there, right?
He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't do that.
Tom does not disappoint.
All right, I'll take your word for it.
I'm very excited for women of whiskey.
Yeah.
Lee's been on the show. She was one of our early guests.
Is she on?
Yeah,
she's
Oh,
on.
hey, Lee Rayner, how are you? Yeah, you're right, Lee. There's not that many women in the industry, so I would be excited.
There's a lot of amazing women in the industry.
But then we just need to
That
meet
is
more of
true.
them. That's all there is to it.
Yep.
So
Well, thank you again.
Well,
Bye.
thank you
all
guys.
for being with us tonight. With that, I'll say, Slanja.
I guess I need
yeah, I think I have some of this left.
Good, brother.
Thank you.
to. Good night, Jenna. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Guys, take care.
Gotcha.